This game is for one and all. We are the West Indies, live the passion. We are the West Indies, every bat and ball. When it comes to the game of cricket, live the passion. We are the West Indies, this game is for one and all. We are the West Indies, live the passion. We are the West Indies, every bat and ball. When it comes to the game of cricket, live the passion.
Hello and welcome to our 2-hour review of the third cricket test in Australia's 2003 tour of the West Indies. Of course, the Aussies went into this one in Barbados with a 2-0 lead in the best-of-4 series and the Frank Worrell Trophy safely in their keeping. But much of the talk in the lead-up centred on the makeup of the two bowling attacks. Would Australia persist with 2 wrist spinners and 3 quicks? Or would Glenn McGrath's return mean for the first time in over a decade Australia would play 4 pacemen? The West Indies were likely to throw in some young blood, both in the spin and fast bowling departments, to try and make some sort of dent in the Australian batting. But before we find out all that, let's head to the middle of the Kensington Oval for the toss, and with the 2 captains is Michael Holding.
I'm out here for the toss in the third test match here in Barbados, and I think a lot of people are aware of the 3 W's emanating from this very beautiful island, Barbados. And I've got Sir Everton Weeks here with me, who will be tossing the coin. Besides Sir Everton Weeks, I've got the West Indies captain Brian Lara, then to his immediate right, Steve Waugh, the Australian captain, and of course our match referee, Mike Proctor, former South African all-rounder. Sir Everton, all yours. Heads is the call.
Tail.
Brian, you want to toss? What will you be doing?
We're gonna field first.
Any special reason for that?
But we got a couple of youngsters in the team. I thought that on the 4 occasions that we batted, the one that really let us down is when we batted first. I thought that, you know, when we get acclimatized to the conditions, second innings in Guyana, both innings in Trinidad, we seem to bat better. So we'd look to put the Australians under early pressure. Also, they have played 4 fast bowlers, and I'm sure they would like to use the conditions first up.
So you're having a word with the groundsman, Prof. Edwards. Did he tell you anything special about this pitch?
Yes, he thinks that there's going to be something in it for the first 2 sessions, and we have picked our 2 fastest bowlers in the Caribbean, and Tino Best and Jermaine Lawson. So hopefully we could get something out of it early on and make some inroads into the Australians.
Okay, Brian, good luck.
Thanks very much.
Well, Steve, when Brian said that you'll bat, were you surprised?
A little bit of a surprise, but it may have something to do with our 4 quicks in our lineup. But I don't think it really matters too much. The pitch looks pretty good, and hopefully there should be some runs for us in the first innings.
Yeah, you mentioned 4 quicks. Glenn McGrath's coming now. Who is he replaced?
Brad Hogg goes out of the lineup, which is a bit unfortunate because he's done well, but you can't really leave a guy like Glenn McGrath out of the side.
Well, you've accomplished one mission already. You retained the Frank Worrell Trophy. Another mission now is to win the series and then go on and perhaps get a clean sweep. And for you, a match here where you can equal Clive Lloyd's winning record as a captain.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake at this test match. For us, obviously winning the series is the most important thing, and looking for a good showing. I think we can improve on our first 2 test wins, and yeah, the atmosphere is fantastic here in Barbados, and we really enjoy playing here.
Steve, thanks a lot and all the best.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Despite another dry and flat surface, Lara's strange decision to send Australia in could only be deemed a defensive one. At least if they drew here, they would avoid the prospect of being the first West Indian side whitewashed in a test series on home soil. To the lineups, and there are changes aplenty in the West Indies starting 11. Chris Gale replaces fellow lefty Wavell Hines at the top of the order. Shivnarine Chanderpaul is back to bolster the middle order, but keeper Ridley Jacobs failed a late fitness test, leaving rookie Carlton Bohr to continue behind the stumps. Pedro Collins and Merv Dillon were dropped for young quicks Tino Best and Jermaine Lawson, with Lawson's under-19 teammate from 2 years back, Amari Banks, getting his chance as a frontline spinner. Australia, meanwhile, chose to leave out wrist spinner Brad Hogg, allowing paceman Andy Bickle to keep his spot alongside Lee, Gillespie and McGrath, who returns for his first test match of the year. The formidable top 6 of Langer, Hayden, Ponting, Lehman, Waugh and Gilchrist remain unchanged from the opening 2 tests. Time now to join the action in Barbados from the start of play. Justin Langer is taking strike to Lawson, back in the windy side after that bout of chickenpox. Your commentators are Tony Kosier and Jeff Thompson.
And here's the first ball of the third test match. Jermaine Lawson to Justin Langer. Just short of this fielder. Could well have been a chance. Shawan diving to his right. What a sensational start to the test match. Outside edge found. Down it went. And Sarwan might just have got the right hand under it. Let's have a look.
Well, extra bounce here for Lawson. Well, I'm not sure if it carried. A little difficult there. Let's have a look from the front-on version. Just leaves Langer. Had to play at it. Well, I think he just got his fingertips that goes. That might be a chance. Anguish there from Lawson. You can see the look on his face. Good delivery. What an exciting start this is. First ball.
Nice shot. Whipped away off the legs for 4, first boundary. So Hayden gets going with a half volley on the legs. And it really has been a quite dramatic start to the test match.
Yeah, this is one place you don't want to bowl on this ground. It's good on the drives. It's long there, but square the wicket very short.
Banged away, wide of mid-on. That'll go for 4, short. And Hayden hit it in the air. But wide of the diving Lara. Good, confident shot.
Well, he did hit it well, but it wasn't all that far away from Brian Lara. Quickly onto that. It wasn't too short. But you see that dust just come up, just went wide of Lara. But Hayden did strike that right off the middle of the bat, but wants to be wary.
That's gone away again. Pulled away, so that's an expensive opening over from Tino Best. He knows he's in test cricket. 10 off the over, only 2 gone, and they're 16 without loss. Dropped it. Second return, or second catch put down by the West Indies. Lawson, who had caught and bowled Adam Gilchrist in the test match in Guyana in similar fashion, now puts down a return catch from Justin Langer, who's now had his second chance. He's got 4, and the West Indies are going to rule this.
No, you can't keep missing these guys. This is how it happened. Round the wicket, just holds up on him, straight back at him. Two goes at it. Well, dearie me, how many goes can he have, Langer, today? Once, twice?
Good hook shot. Ganga can't get it. That's hammered away. Again, much too short from Best. Whenever he carries the ball up, the batsmen are watchful. Whenever he's short, they're going for it, and he's paying the penalty.
Well, Langer's a back foot player. That's the trouble. That's why he's right in line very quickly. Look at that bang. Absolutely smashed. This has gone like a rocket.
Pulled through the mid-wicket region. Not well timed, but it will go all the way anyway.
He's not quick, Basler Drakes. It's been bowled at 80 miles per hour, and it wasn't all that short, but Matthew Hayden, fresh off a century in the test match in Trinidad, and on a good pitch. He'll be looking to put a lot of pressure on the bowlers today. It's an inexperienced West Indies bowling lineup, and I'm absolutely certain he'll take a few chances trying to establish himself early against this attack.
Edged and caught. Chris Gale catching Matt Hayden at first slip, so the first wicket goes down for Australia.
Disappointed, 1 was too many for Matthew Hayden. Wicket to pass for Drakes. Most experience of the West Indies bowlers. That's flirting with danger. Second grab for Chris Gale, one of the regular slip fielders for the West Indies over the last year or so. Matthew Hayden is gone. Australia 43 for 1.
That's for just a bit too much width there from Vasbert Drakes. That boundary brings up the 50 as well.
He's a good cutter, Justin Langer. He got across a long way. If you're going to play the cut shot, that's what you want to do.
4.
Yeah, just getting it too wide, too full. Langer just leaning on that one. Langer's been a little fortunate this morning. 2 chances for him, and he's still out there. Matthew Hayden, 1 chance. See you later. He's in the pavilion. This was that delivery again, just over pitch, trying to get the Yorker in.
And he has belted that for 4. So that ends the over. 16 overs gone. The boundary takes Australia to 73 for 1.
And he's got it through. Gone between extra cover and mid-off. A lovely drive by Langer. He's so strong in that area. So yet another boundary to him. That's his 5th.
Wasn't all that bad a delivery from Tino Best. Just tending to straighten a bit, just outside the off stump, but perhaps a bit too full on this pitch that's offering absolutely no assistance in lateral movement. Just able to play through the line there, Justin Langer.
And that's gone through as well for another 4. Off the back foot, bang square, so 2 boundaries off successive balls to start the over. Best having a tough time in his debut test match.
Well wide of the man there at point. Had no chance, Omari Banks. Can just see the ball tending to straighten as well.
Now that's hammered away. Wouldn't say third man would have got there, but he is so very strong outside the off stump. Just wonder if it wouldn't be an idea to bowl on his legs as well. Just try and tuck him up. Very easily done. So Justin Langer has gone on to 50. Lucky to be there. Dropped, difficult chance off the first ball of the match. Dropped a very easy return to Lawson when he was 4, but he's prospering now. .50 partnership coincides with his own. 7 4s, and acclaimed by the many Australians who have come into Barbados for the test match. Beautifully threaded between mid-on and mid-wicket. Just picked the gap and threaded it. There wasn't much space there for Langer to work with, and somehow with correction with Ponting to work with, but with the use of the wrist, beautifully played. Now it's threaded between mid-wicket and square leg for another 4. So Marjoribanks' first over in Test cricket has been taken for 10, and Australia are 104 for 1.
Oh. Direct hit, that's good. That might be out. He's going to call for this. That was what was required, a direct hit from the deep. The fielders don't seem too enthusiastic about it. The umpires called for the TV version of this one. Langer, can he have a third time lucky?
Now he's well short, Langer. Whether the ball was in the glove of Carlton Baugh is the question that the third umpire is going to have to ask. No doubt about Langer being well short, but look at the ball. Not convinced that it was in the glove of Carlton Baugh.
No, you've got that right there, Bish. The slow motion is showing that. I thought it was a direct hit because it's the far end from our commentary here. Langer is a long way short. Do his gloves break the stumps with the ball in it, or is the ball not in it and the gloves break the stump? That is the question.
certainly a misjudgment. And there we go, the green light. Not out. Very good decision, but certainly another missed opportunity by the West Indies.
That's gone. That's gone a very long way. 6 to Justin Langer.
When Shane Warne made his comeback game for Victoria earlier this year, or in January, Justin Langer hit him for 3 sixes in 1 over. Took 27 off the Shane Warne over, so he's not unhappy trying to hit the ball over long on off the spinner. He plays it quite often. And a very good catch by the man there. He should be fielding.
Miscued. And the gone this time. Shiv Narayan Chandrapal taking the catch, and that's Omari Banks getting his first test wicket. And isn't he happy?
And why shouldn't he be? So Justin Langer, I think, probably he used up most of his coupons today. 3 genuine chances in his innings, and he probably said, I'll take them on now. It might be my day, and it just wasn't. Just that little bit of turn and maybe a fraction of bounce as well, causing him some problems. But the pitch is taking some turn on the first day. It's exactly what Steve Waugh spoke about yesterday. So Justin Langer goes a little bit of a fortuitous 78, but he'll be disappointed who got out in that style. It is 151 for 2.
Bit of turn there for Omari Banks, looking for the second one, Ricky Ponting, and gets there comfortably. Takes him on to another half century at test match level.
They're just so used to him bringing up half centuries. But there's some of the Australian players' wives. Ricky Ponting's wife coming over last week in Trinidad. But a very simple half-century for Ponting today. Off 84 balls, so it hasn't been any extra rush or anything outrageous. 5 boundaries, and just played certainly within himself in very, very good form.
Didn't try and steer that one, though.
Well, that's what he was trying to, or was thinking about doing the first time, I would have thought. Just a little bit surprised that he did try to steer the first one. He's got himself 4 runs, but it didn't matter because the next delivery was the same one. And he knew the man was just behind the square leg, so he flat batted it in front. An easy boundary.
Nice on drive. Outfield was a little bit sluggish, and I think Drakes there just misjudged it. Thought it was going to go for 4 from the time it passed him, and then accelerated to try to catch it. But parts of the outfield, I believe, have been sanded. And let's have a look here. You'll see Drakes take after it. And right, he's given it up there. And then realizes, hey, this ball is holding up. Accelerates. Too late. Oh, too short. Had all the time in the world to get back. Spoils the over. Last ball. And dropped it in short. And Lehman just laid back and spanked it. 183 for 2.
That's a fabulous record for Ponting on this tour so far. The rest of this innings to go. Maybe a second innings. Another test match next week in Antigua.
Flicked away. Long chase around for the fielders, but they won't get there. The over finishes off with the boundary. 50 partnership between the two. 204 for 2. Banks now to Lehman, giving him full sight of the stumps. And cracking him through the offside for 4. Well, that's inexperience. He's got a full view of the stumps. That's where Lehman wants him to bowl. Look how far out of the leg stump he is.
Well, he's a very experienced campaigner, Lehman, and he's one of the few world batsmen who are quite happy to move around in their crease and do different things for the bowlers. He's going to crack it through every time. He's going to take advantage now. Banks would
hardly have ever had this done to him before, and he doesn't know how to respond.
Well, the first thing about Darren Lehmann is what did he ask David Shepherd? What guard? Can I have 1 foot outside leg stump, please? And young Banks has no idea what to do. Lara's fielding a backwards square leg, which is not ideal either. Probably Lara needs to be at mid-off to help the youngster get through this. He's just walking across to his stumps. He knows the off-spin will bowl at the stumps. And as soon as it's a fraction short, it's an easy boundary.
Pulled away, and away, and away, and away. Gone for 6. Tino Best should know by now. On this pitch, he's bowled short. A lot in this game has been hooked and pulled frequently. That's his first 6 off him, second of the innings.
Tino Best comes in, busting run, bowls to Ponting short, 6. And it's been 2 very good catches this afternoon off both sixes. Langer was caught with a man with a pint in one hand and a ball in the other, and Ponting's been caught by a man at the other end of the ground as well. He can't believe it that the fieldsman is not 17 foot tall.
I was about to say that's got to be close to 500, hasn't it? Then, well, this will be 2.5 matches once he completes this innings.
Dropped through Shinarayan Chandrapaul's hands, that gully. Another chance goes down. Close with the run out as well, but he's back.
Well, I'm not sure what that was. Was it a full toss to slide off the face? A full toss, he's tried to glide it, and he's hit it straight to Chandrapaul. Now, he was back a bit too, I think, Chandrapaul. He's had plenty of time to pick this up. There it is. Oh, you've got to be catching them. He was deep. Saw it all the way. Two-hander. West Indies have had a shocker in the field as far as chances today. Not a good delivery, but you've got to take them. That's a simple catch.
You're expected to go that test match level. Better throw, and it would have been a bit closer, but he got in.
And that's his 50. So Lehmann brings up his half-century and retains the strike. It's a 4 run from the over. So Lehmann 50 from 113 balls is 257 for 2. So can Ponting bring up the century? Short single, and well done to Ponting. His 17th Test 100. The second time he's made 3 consecutive Test 100s. A fantastic record for Ricky Ponting. And he is in outstanding run-scoring form. Nothing fancy about his batting as perhaps there was when he was a younger player. It is workmanlike. He just scores and it scores and scores. And what a moment. 100 on the famous Kensington ground. He got 100 here in 1999 as well. What a player. Oh, lovely placement. And that'll go to the fence. Very short square here in Barbados. And he just pounced on it, and he made sure that he got the placement correct.
It wasn't all that wide, but it was short enough. Now we see just made some room for himself, Ricky Ponting. He's very quick on his feet.
And thank you very much. Lehmann down the wicket, over mid-on, takes a boundary.
I suppose the West Indies will say that they got a lot more of that in Trinidad and Tobago.
Now, will they try a second here? Yes, they're coming for it. Return is on the way. It's a good one. That's a very good return. It's close. Tino Best right on top of the stumps. That's a superb piece of fielding. Always was going to be dangerous coming back for the second. Tino Best reckons he has him. Umpire Venkatragavan is called for the television replay, and that will determine whether the West Indies have a third wicket nearing the end of the day's play. Anxious looks. Gone. Brilliant piece of work by Tino Best. Right over the top of the bails, and a superb return means that Ricky Ponting is going to have an aghast look when that red light comes on.
It certainly was an excellent throw. Look at that ball coming right beside the stumps. Young ball didn't have to go far with his gloves at all, and that made a difference. A beautiful throw, a nice strong throw right beside the stumps. Well, we think it's out. What does the third umpire think? He thinks so as well.
So Ricky Ponting goes off disconsolate. Always was going to be testing that second run. Here's how it happened. Runs it down to third man, and I will turn for a second, but Best is very quick in there. Has this unique throw of his side arm right on top of the stumps. Gone.
End of a very good knock that by Ricky Ponting. Unfortunate method of dismissal, but it's 292 for 3.
And that's one that could be hit, and is hit, and hit well. Drake's just trying to extract life from a lifeless pitch, hammering it in, and really doesn't have the pace to bother a batsman who's got into the 70s.
Pulling that from well wide above the off stump.
And he's jumped into that. He just watched that, wanted to find out where it was, and he just ran at it.
I think that was bigger than his leap last week for his century. There we are, and then launches himself at that. Oh, he did that well, and it was totally along the ground, I think, the shot. Certainly was.
So in one day, Australia just about ruling out any hope of the Windies winning the match, reaching 3 for 320. Ricky Ponting's blistering form continues. Centuries in 3 straight tests now after that whirlwind ton in the World Cup final. It's the second time he's posted centuries in 3 straight tests after racking up 100 in the third one against Pakistan in Sharjah, and then centuries in the opening 2 Ashes tests last summer. Darren Lehmann is just 11 short of back-to-back test centuries also, and after the break we'll see if he can make it as Australia looks to build a huge first innings total.
We are the West Indies, every bat and ball. When it comes to the game of cricket, live the passion. Passion.
Welcome back to our 2-hour review of Australia's third test in the West Indies. The visitors resume on 3 for 320 on day 2, with Darren Lehmann just 11 short of a second straight test century after posting his maiden test ton in Trinidad. Skipper Steve Waugh is unbeaten on 7 on what's proven to be a fruitless strip for the fast bowlers. We go back now to the Kensington Oval for the start of day 2. Jermaine Lawson is bowling to the Australian captain. Your commentators are Tony Cozier and Ian Bishop.
First run of the day. Down to long leg off the first delivery. Really just a loosener from Lawson. Steve Waugh moves on to 8. Chopped away the third man. Gone all the way. Bad delivery from Drakes to begin with. Unusual for him, starting with a wide ball short of off stump. And Lehmann puts it away to move now to 94. He's gone leg before, pulled right across it. So Darren Lehmann misses out on 100. completely misjudging the length and the line. Bad shot by Lehman, but he's had this handicap with the injury to the left index finger, and the West Indies have picked up an early wicket. 3:31 for 4.
Did it pitch on? It did not. Pitched outside leg stump and would probably have gone past off stump as well. It's not the first time in this series that we've seen a left-handed batsman given out erroneously. Darren Lehman can consider himself unlucky, but he's gone for 96. 3:31 for 4.
Here's Drakes now to Steve Waugh. Just to his left and got his hand to it. Sarwan, second difficult chance that he's put down. Put there especially for that. In the air, left hand to it.
And the plan almost worked. Remember Ramner Sarwan taking catch to dismiss Rahul Dravid in the last one-day international in India some months ago. Very, very similar. Just hitting the fingers. Difficult chance. But you want to take those in these situations.
Fine shot there from Steve Waugh. Bread and butter shot, this one. It's got a few feelers in that mid-wicket area. It's threaded it through him just for a couple. 3:44 for 4.
3:44 for 4, and Steve Waugh hits another landmark. Second Australian to score 2,000 test runs against the West Indies. Alan Border, recent past captain, the only other Australian batsman. Edged but through the slip cordon. Third man will be coming around, but he won't get there. He's pretty wide, third man. Another boundary.
Well, I think that's a genuine edge there from Gilchrist. I don't think he quite meant this. Lawson getting a little bit of a way movement. Yeah, definitely trying to play that in front of the wicket. It looks like he's trying to play it through mid-on. Really? Just moved a little. There's only one slip there.
Well, that side of the ground has a few more people in it than the Kensington stand. That's more the supporters of the Australian team. And of course, they haven't gotten to work today.
Well, the fellow just played happy birthday to Brian Lara in the break. It's his birthday today. 30-40, asked them all to stand. All the Aussies up with their flags. I think that must... was that the Carib stand? Would have to be, wouldn't it?
Well, maybe that explains why Lara won the toss and elected the field. He perhaps wanted to bat on his birthday. Might not work out that way even so, though.
The way it's looking at the moment, he might have to wait longer than his birthday.
That was in between overs when they sang Have a Birthday. Just Brian Lara just acknowledging the supporters.
Out.
That's for one of his bread and butter shots, Steve Waugh.
Yeah, well, he won't want to bowl anywhere there to Steve. He's got to really concentrate on his line. It's hard enough to hit the ball, but you don't need an angled shot like that. Waugh will just murder you there, working away.
Many of these young people in particular have saved up for a couple of years to get here. It's a long way. It takes about 2 days to get from Australia to the Caribbean. And here goes the birthday boy to blow out his candles. Brian Lara 34 today. Too wide. And that's gone for 4. Well, Steve Waugh has run around and chased that ball. It's so wide and short. And once he hit it, it was always going to go racing away to the fence for another boundary to the Australian captain.
Well, it wasn't quite about 2 feet outside the off-stump. It was much more than that. Very, very wide. Would have been called a wide had it not come into contact with the bat. And that's an indication that Steve Waugh wants to score. He wants to get things moving. Might not have gone for this otherwise. And gone away like a rocket.
He's got hold of that one. He's going to get a 4, a rare boundary. Just carrying. Ready, threw the bat at it. Ball just on middle and leg. And hoisted away by Gilchrist for a boundary.
Playing that off length, Adam Gilchrist. Quite happy to play across and lie on the ball if it's short. Didn't bounce a great deal though. You can see how low that ball kept. Hit on the bottom of the bat. That's why it took so long to get to the boundary. In the end, just trickling into the boundary. Again, if that ball hadn't hit the bat, it would have perhaps bounced a couple of times before getting to the wicket keeper.
Difficult times for Tino Best in his maiden test match. And even more difficult times on top of the roof of the Greenwich and Haynes stand. Well, not on top of the roof, but certainly clanging into one of the advertising boards over there. A 4 and a 6, and Tino Best taking some punishment.
This one stood up a bit better for him. You can see that it bounced a bit higher than the previous delivery. Just as short, and he really hit that hard. One of his favorite shots. Almost went into the second level of the Greenwich and Haynes stand.
Three 4s and a 6 off Best in this spell. It's in the air, and that's gone again. That's gone right out into the car park. Tremendous blow by Adam Gilchrist. 4, 6, 6, and Tino Best can only wonder. That's lifted the Australians, who were rather silent for a long time.
The length again, just too short, Tino Best. Pitching in the middle of the wicket in both respects. It wasn't a bad line, it was just about mid-stump, but the length. And those will disappear.
He's gone down the wicket and he's deposited it over long off. Good clean hit by Gilchrist. When he hits it, it stays hit. Third 6 of the morning for him.
It has gone into the stand of another great left-hander. Sir Garfield Sobers Pavilion. That's where it landed, on the second floor. Didn't really give it the full swing either. Well, we never thought sitting in those stands would have been dangerous, would you?
That's his 50 there. Just knocks it through mid-wicket. Adam Gilchrist, 50 from 69 deliveries, 2 4s, 3 6s. Very good innings from him. It probably seems so slow to him, but a very good knock. All the Aussies are appreciative of that. That takes the score to 422 for 4. Steve Waugh is 48 not out, and this partnership now 91.
There might be an opportunity here. Sarwan is very slow to recover. Very, very casual from Ramnaree Sarwan. But Steve Waugh gets his 47th Test match half-century. And he receives a loud ovation from the Australian fans near the scoreboard.
Yes, it's a good workman-like 50 you'd call this one from Steve Waugh. It's been tough out there. Didn't bat in the previous test at all. The Aussies out there, they're pretty happy with it. You couldn't say a bad word against their captain, I don't think.
Well, he's got that through as well. That will run away for 4. He waited on it and it played it exquisitely.
Well, he did, didn't he? They're very appreciative, the Aussie fans behind Gilchrist. They're waiting for him to unload with a few shots. They've seen a couple already. The ball spun a bit too and bounced. He played it pretty well. Waited on it, hit it very, very late.
There we go, a little hop and a skip. 4-4-4 is the score. It's in the air. Devon Smith is settling under it, and he takes it. Adam Gilchrist is gone. Omari Banks has his second wicket in Test match cricket.
Well, that's a very good wicket. Gilchrist there hit a beautiful shot beforehand now, tried to hit a ball that wasn't quite there. Skied it. It's against the wind. The fielder was on the fence, didn't move, was just hoping that the ball would drop. Devon Smith gets underneath this one. Did a good job just to sit there and made sure he caught that one, but it held up into the breeze. Good bit of perception there from the fielder. Murray Banks, well, he's pretty happy. Gilchrist goes, Australia 444 for 5.
It's gone right up. Will he get under it? It's coming around quickly and floored. Saw one again in that mid-wicket region. Another one goes down.
Dear, oh dear. One of Steve Ward's favourite shots off the finger spinner. And this should have been caught. It was in the air for a long time. And no judgment at all in the end. He had a long way to run, Sowan, but it was in the air for such a long time that he really should have got there. And as a bowler, he'd rather the bloke get his hand to it and drop it than not judge it properly.
Well, he didn't miss-hit that one. Found the gap perfectly. Two men out there in the deep. That went very square. That's a boundary. Just two men on the offside. 14 runs coming from that over. Australia 460 for 5. Straight down the ground. That's a good shot. Always very safe down there.
Bickle does play that shot particularly well. He's quite happy for a tail ender. Probably a harsh phrase for him. But he does use the full face of the bat more than most people who bat down the list. Most players down the list want to try and hit that ball to mid-wicket. And it's always a staggering decision that they make. But Bickle is quite happy to hit nice and straight. And he's such a strong man. He and Matthew Hayden, two strongest players in the Australian side from a weight pushing point of view.
Nice shot. And that'll go all the way for 4. Flicked away off the legs by Steve Waugh. Yeah, there's no energy out there now from the West Indians.
That's right, they're a bit flat. This is a strong area for Steve Waugh. Just at the last moment closes the face of the bat with strong wrists. Just whips it from somewhere around middle stump, maybe even middle and off, and tucks it through the leg side.
Over his head. Now that had to be a catch to a bowler following through. Gone for 4. You've got to catch those. Never seemed likely to hold on to it. Didn't seem to consider it a catch.
Well, caught and bowls for the fast bowler is never the easiest. He didn't get anywhere near it, Jermaine Lawson. Dropped one yesterday, a return catch from Justin Langer. Much simpler opportunity, came straight at his chest. That one a lot higher. Just couldn't react in time. A note in the notebook. Yet another one for the West Indies coach. Talk about tough initiations.
Wide and dropped, I think. That could well be another one. There was a deflection. It sounded like bat and was bat. So another chance going down with Carlton Bowe putting it down to his left should have held on.
Quite clearly, Bat. And he got a lot of glove onto that. It's never easy down the leg side because he'd be blinded for a while. That was quite clearly into the webbing and out. Far too many opportunities have been missed by the West Indies. Catches win matches. You don't get away from that.
And that's a lovely swing of the bat. That's one bounce into the Pickwick Pavilion. And 507 for 5. It's gone again. And that's all the way. What a lovely strike of the ball. The last ball of the previous over went one bounce over long on, and that one didn't even bounce.
Well, he's just hitting with the drift of Jermaine Lawson too. Not a half volley, but he knows it's coming back to doing. This time it's a straighter bat, and this time it's a cleaner hit. That's the Players' Pavilion there. His teammates are just to the left of where that lands. He knows that's off the middle. There's the West Indies on the right.
And cut away, very close. And no third man, so that'll go all the way to the fence. So a boundary to take the Australians to afternoon tea. And only one wicket per session in this match. 3 yesterday and 2 today. So Andy Biggles played really well, and in this session 118 runs from the 30 overs.
Gone over the head of extra cover, down to the boundary, and will just get there, holding up, but still going for 4.
That's another very good shot. And the Bickle hitting over the top, hitting over extra cover. Inside out, that's a good shot, definitely, especially when you're considering that the ball is spinning in towards the right-hander. He moves on to 49. Well, that's sending a signal. Even Clarence has collapsed.
So half century for Andy Bickle. Played really well, first test half century, and applauded by Australians in the stands and in the dressing room. And a beaming Bickle, a very popular individual in cricket in Australia and around the world. A real hard trier, and there he is with a half century. In the air, and just perhaps making it. We'll have a check. Bounce in front. Hit it pretty well, away from the fielder. David Shepherd just checking to see, and I think he's satisfied.
I think you'll find that this bounce perhaps a yard in front of the boundary, or perhaps even a bit more. Here you can see the sandy outfield. See all the sand being tossed in the air as that ball bounces.
Now he's got hold of that one. That's gone a long way. That's out of the ground. The lucky thing, Clarence was already deflated. 550 for 5.
That boundary is closer. When you're bowling from the Malcolm Marshall end, this mid-wicket boundary is a lot closer than bowling from the Joel Garner end, and that cleared it by some distance. No need to check if that went all the way.
It's gone all the way into New Orleans. That's the suburb adjoining Kensington Oval. So here's Steve Waugh in strike now. Flick down the fine leg, will go for 4, that's his 100. Stephen Waugh passes Sir Donald Bradman's record of 29 Test hundreds for Australia. That's his 30th, his 7th against the West Indies, his 4th in the Caribbean, and following his 199 here 4 years ago, it's his 2nd in Barbados. One lone fan has come onto the field to shake his hand. The police won't worry with him too much. Standing ovation around the ground from the Australians. It's been a chancy innings. It's not been by any means his best, but he's stuck it out. He's played for it, and there he is now on 101. And another boundary down between extra cover and mid-off. In the air, but wide of the fielder.
Into the gap. I think you'll see quite a bit more of this until the declaration comes. Just a matter of getting as many as possible now, as quickly as possible. The 2 landmarks have been achieved, that of Andy Bickle getting his half-century, and that also of Steve Waugh getting the 3 figures. 30 centuries and 46 half-centuries in his Test match career, Steve Waugh.
So Gavaskar and Sachin Tendulkar, the 2 Indians, are the only 2 with more Test hundreds than Steve Waugh. Gavaskar with 34, and today Steve Waugh passed him as the 2nd highest run scorer in Test cricket. Sachin Tendulkar still playing. In fact, they're the only 2 who are still active, Tendulkar and Waugh, in that list.
We did mention earlier on that Steve Waugh has had problems with his legs in the past. Just seems to be having a few problems here again. Well hit, but well caught. Brian Lara, the man in the mid-wicket region. And the Bickle goes. Good knock though. Very good knock. Put a very good partnership together with his captain. And dismissed by a full toss. Took a good catch from Brian Lara in that mid-wicket region. West Indies haven't been taking their catches throughout this Test match, but they held this one straight at him, and he held it well, Lara. So Australia lose their 6th wicket, and the Bickle goes for 71. It's 568 for 6.
Australia continue to pile on the pressure. The question now, and only one question remains, is when will Steve Waugh declare? He's now facing. And he's bowled him. That's what you might call a slog. So Steve Waugh's innings has ended with a good old-fashioned slog. I suppose in keeping with the fielding which we've seen in this match so far, really a club shot. So Steve Waugh walks off, and as he does so, we'll change the commentators and go over to 2 Australians, David Hooks and Jeff Thompson.
Thank you, Tony, and you get a standing applause there to his wife, Lynette, who this is her first trip to the Caribbean. She made the point that it'll probably be her husband's last trip as a player, so she should come. And, well, many people have travelled a long way to see this Test match, and they've seen Steve Waugh create history. His 30th Test 100, his 7th against the West Indies, and quite right, he does deserve this standing ovation. Inside edge, and that'll go towards the fine leg boundary, and it'll get there. So 4 to a Brett Lee slash as well. The old leg hit. The off glance.
Well, I thought this was going to bowl him. I think Lawson might have thought that. just a thick inside edge, otherwise that leg stump would have disappeared. Well, that's chipped in the air. Well, he's turned his back on this one. This is... can't you put your hand up and have a little look or something? I don't know. I haven't seen that one before. I'll let you talk about that one.
Well, he certainly lost it in the sun. Smith, but you would at least shade your eyes and give yourself half a chance to catch it. And he just decided, well, the ball's going to hurt me if it hits me, so I'll turn away. Well,
it's nearly hit him in the foot.
Well, it's only gone for 4. Well, there's no need to duck for that one unless you're in the crowd. And, well, that is the tail ender slogging with the off spin on a short boundary. That is dangerous medicine.
Yes, I don't think Banks will be too happy with this. He's been the recipient of a few missed chances, and that missed catch just before was terrible. And then you go for 6. And that's the bigger hit there. This is the one that disappears over the fence.
And it's gone again. Well, that is onto the stand. And Australia, that 6 brings up to 600. And the Australians are happy. I'm not sure whether Brian Lara or the West Indies are too happy. The Australian batsmen are looking back in the direction of Steve Waugh. So 600 obviously wasn't the target, the psychological target. The Australian team are just trying to grind the West Indies fieldsmen into the dirt.
Yes, here we go again. Another 6. 19 from this over. This one disappears over the fence. This is a better hit from Gillespie.
Rolled in. Lee trying to whack it over mid-on instead of straight back over the bowler's head. And he's paid the penalty, the same penalty that Steve Waugh paid.
Yeah, good bit of bowling there from Lawson. At least he's pitched enough pull. He's getting the ball to swing in. So that's his second wicket. He gets 2 for 131 at the moment. Brett Lee leaves the field. Hasn't done a great deal of damage. 11 runs just from 9 deliveries. Trying to slog Lawson down the ground. Now you'll see this ball just angle inwards. Bang, inside the bat there. Lee trying to give himself a bit of room to put it over the fence and didn't quite succeed. So Lee leaves. Australia 605 for 8.
Stuart MacGill out to the crease. And the pinch